Hey Church, Lockdown 2, the sequel. There are just a few films I think that were better than the originals. The Empire Strikes Back for me was better than the first Star Wars film. Definitely Godfather 2, much better than the first one. And I think also Lord of the Rings 2, The Two Towers, far better film than the Fellowship of the Ring. Listen, I know already just approaching lockdown, we've felt weary of it. I know many are carrying fear and uncertainty. There are so many unknowns. Just encouraging you, let's lock back into the things that count. What do we say all the time? It's really true. Love Jesus, love one another, love Crawley, loving our neighbours. We can help each other in this. Disciples. We'll do some reminders and equipping on discipleship elsewhere, but just a few headlines for us over these next few minutes. Our Sundays, we've had a month of meeting in person in our 6 p.m. Sundays. Of course, now everything comes back onto Zoom. Our baptisms that were planned for November will have to bump into December. We will keep our 6 p.m. meeting that we've been doing in person on Zoom. We'll keep that reflective study through 1 Peter that we're doing together, and we'll get back into the church building as soon as we possibly can. Sunday morning we'll continue 10 a.m. on Zoom with all of the family life that goes on around that. Hey friends, if you've drifted from Sundays, if you've switched off, hey, I understand it's a hard way to worship. If you've begun watching later or whilst doing something else without giving the Lord your full attention in these times. Do you remember what we've been learning in Nehemiah right now? The trumpet's blowing. It's time to gather God's people. This is a month for gathering again. Come at 10, come at 6, take part, help others, be there, be present, pray, worship, share, invite. The last lockdown was a time where many of our friends began to connect with online church services. Let's pray again and see what happens as we move towards Christmas. Our small groups, again, back on Zoom. Some have been meeting, of course, at the church building, but we need to be on Zoom again now. No meeting in gardens. You can only meet one person with one person to go for a walk outside. If you're not in a small group, again, if you've drifted from your small group, please join one. If you don't know how, give me a shout. I can help you or any of the leadership team. Just to say briefly about our kids church, you may be aware if you're a family of a child that we've been making noises about restarting a kids church hour. The team have done lots of work behind the scenes on that, and we have a plan that now has to go on the shelf because obviously we can't quite use it for now, but that work's been done, and as soon as we're safely able to start that, we'll let you know more. In the meantime, we'll try and bring as much life as we can in that Sunday morning slot in our 10 a.m. service for our children. Please, families, use the Facebook Kids Church page, share songs, stories, chat, encouragements, and we're praying for you at home as you make disciples of your little ones with Bible reading, prayers, songs, worship in your own way. Let me just talk for a moment or two about pastoral care. We've talked a lot about love your neighbour, our outward work, amazing, that's growing with other churches across the town. You can volunteer in that, not just food parcels, phone calls for befriending people. We're beginning job retraining schemes, debt advice. There's a volunteer coordinator job. You may have heard Dave and Al talking about it last Sunday. It's only going to grow. Love your neighbour outwardly. But I just want to talk for a moment about love your neighbour inwardly. What can we do to love one another in this time, particularly from today, alongside our small group structure, which covers so much of that care? Let's take responsibility for one another. Please don't think it's someone else's job to do that, or assume, hey, somebody else will have thought about that person that dropped into my mind this morning as I was praying. Someone else will have thought about that person in the church that lives down the road from me that I haven't noticed on a Zoom for a little while. Listen, love doesn't write a list. It just reacts in the moment. Over the next week or so, we'll share some fresh ideas from the eldership team that will just help us alongside our small group structure. But in the meantime, please don't wait. Pick up the phone, call a few people in the church, say, how are you doing? How is it? Is there anything you need? Send a WhatsApp. Hey, be old fashioned, write a letter or a card that you could pop in the post. You can go and knock on someone's door and then reverse and stand at the end of their pathway and have a chat. We have no idea how significant these small acts of love and care are. If you need help, please call your small group leader or call someone in the church or even the church office. We want to help you. The Love Your Neighbour support may be appropriate. Maybe it's help from our own crisis fund, or maybe we can signpost you to some other help that's available around the town. I think of the Lord of the Rings film earlier. I think it was Gandalf that said, "I find it is the small, everyday deeds of ordinary folk that keep the darkness at bay." Small acts of kindness and love. We can help keep the darkness at bay with our small acts of kindness and love, church. Mother Teresa put it this way: not all of us can do great things, but we can all do small things with great love. Small things with great love. If I was preaching now, I'd say, let me hear you say that and look at one another. So let's love one another. Finally, we can walk. We're being encouraged to go for a walk every day. So please walk and pray each day. Let's find that rhythm again that we had earlier in the year. While you're walking, pray for Crawley, pray for the church family, pray for those serving us and leading us, for your small group leaders, pray for the town and the economy, pray for those who you know who are sick, those who don't yet know Jesus, those who are fearful, those who are lonely. Remember this Jeremiah series we preached back in September, or the Nehemiah teaching series that we're in now. The church, these are not the maps we were looking for. This was not the route we were expecting to go down this year. But let's live with simple faith here. There's a mix of weeping, a mix of loss, a mix also of learning how to live and bless and serve the city as the people of God called here right now. So let me just say, the Lord bless you. The Lord keep you. The Lord make his beautiful face shine upon you. And the Lord give you his peace. We'll see you soon.